Tech Talk Alert. After our latest digital life hack, you're going to hear one of my weekend show's best calls. You don't want to miss it. My son wasn't even born yet when I purchased his name as a domain, and I gave him his first email address. I stand by that choice. All parents should do the same. Here's why. I'm Kim Commando for Dell. For today's best deals on computer and office hardware, visit Dell.com/deals. As soon as you have a name for your child, you need to set them up for the digital age. Buy their name's URL as in a .com. Next, get an email address for your child so that they have one with their name. It's like a reservation for the email that they need to use when they get older and apply for jobs, school, and more. There's an added bonus to this. You can send them sweet notes, images, and videos for them to look back on. It's kind of like a scrapbook. Create an email for your child through Gmail using Google's Family Link. Your kid gets a monitored Google account with parental controls and a fully functioning Gmail address. Just make sure to sign in a couple of times a year. Google wipes out accounts that have not been accessed in 2 years. Enter to win a brand new iPhone 15 right now at winfromkim.com. Now, check out this amazing call from the show. It's a real gem. Let's see, Judy in Cedar City, Utah. Hello, Judy.
Hi, Kim. I'm very excited to be talking to you. I'm a new listener.
Oh, you're a new listener? That's awesome. Thank you.
I am. I love hearing and learning about technology from you, and I love your one-liners. I love the dry sense of humor, and I think I'm hooked because of the dry sense of humor.
Well, it's just, what it is? It's just trying to lighten it all up because, sometimes when people talk about technology, you've heard it, Judy. It's like, well, we have the Intel Core 5 processor. And you're like, oh my gosh, how boring is that?
Exactly. So I love it. And I think if I didn't hear some of your humor, I think I'd probably turn the channel. But there's so much I can learn from you. So I appreciate what you're doing. I recently moved, and we moved out of our old house, and we had the traditional landline system, and we had a phone. And when we moved, I thought, well, our new house didn't have landline, and I thought, well, we really don't need it because we're using our cell phones all the time.
Right.
But what I found is I feel like I'm missing that phone that kind of rings throughout the house. So I was wondering if there was anything that you knew of that, like, I could connect my phone to, kind of like with your car, but I could do it in the house, where I would have like a receiver that I could be in the kitchen and the family room and, bedroom.
Yeah, because, and I hear what you're saying. I know what you're saying because, you primarily, and I am too, you primarily use your cell phone, right?
Right.
But then there are the times when you like, the phone rings and you're like, oh my gosh, it's in the bedroom, and you're in the kitchen. You're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you think you're like an Olympian athlete. I'm going to run and get it. Okay. But your luck is like mine. By the time you go get it, it stops ringing, right?
Yes.
And then, and then you look, they didn't leave a voicemail. And I'm like, okay. So do you call them back and say, was it not that important that I almost tripped and broke my hip? Or could you not want to text me, or is there something that you actually want to say? And then they look at you, or then they say, you know what, it wasn't that important. I'll just, you sound like you're busy, right?
Yes, no, and sometimes it's happened that is, I think you're watching me, but it's been spam. So they're trying to sell me a warranty on my car. And
my gosh, are you getting the car warranty too? I got 2 of those yesterday. I'm like, leave me alone with the car. So then I decide, okay, I'm tired of this. So I turn on silence calls, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is great. Okay, until my mother's doctor calls. Okay, and he goes straight to voicemail. And he leaves me this message. I call him back, and then he's like, he goes, and then we're talking, and then he goes, I'll have to call you back because let me do some message. No. Yeah, he calls back. He goes back to voicemail again, and then I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I do this for a living. I actually told him this. I'm sorry. Okay, back to you. Yes, and the solution is not very expensive. It's about $50. Okay, so what you're going to do And by the way, you get all that old school stuff that you might want. You get an answering machine. Oh, say it's not true. You get call blocking, you get a caller ID, and you can use it as an intercom. So
oh my gosh.
if you wanted to talk to somebody on the other side of the house, you just pick it up and it becomes an intercom. It connects via Bluetooth. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what you're going to do. A company, they've been around forever, called VTech. I'll send you a link to it, and you can get 2 handsets, like I said, for $50. And then they have some that if you don't want the answering machine or anything like that, you don't have to get all those bells and whistles if you don't want it. But it gives you that portable phone that you used to have, and it can ring throughout the house. And it's not they're not expensive. I have them here in my house. One in the kitchen. I've got one in my mother's room. And one in the home theater, and so because you're right, so when your phone rings, it's like, okay, now I know that I actually have it. So what I'll do is I'm going to post all these tips and some links to these over at Komando.com. In the Komando community, in the Q&A forum, you don't have to be a member to see it, but you do have to be a member to post. And then Judy, so if you want to check there, or we can send you a link directly via your email, and Marianne is always happy to do that. She's such a great person. And again, thank you for your call. Hey, big kudos to you for sticking around. Now, if your brain's buzzing with questions, let me know. Head over to Komando.com and then click Email Kim. You have to trust me. I read every single message like it's a new gadget manual. Well, I actually do it better than that. I never read a manual. Do they even have manuals anymore? Anyway, elevate your tech IQ with my free daily newsletter. Head over to GetKim.com.